Our mind will play tricks on us when we are wanting to save money. Let me give you some examples. Have you ever painted one wall in one room because it was scuffed up and it needed taken care of? And then once you painted that one wall, the other three looked terrible, and you're like, I need to paint the other three. Well, my mind will do that sort of thing to me. And when we got our floors replaced this past fall and I got new carpet, my husband and I were like, well, now this makes our furniture look bad. We need new furniture. But I knew my mind was trying to play tricks on me, and I have not purchased new furniture, even though I know it looks like I need it now just because I got new carpet. So when things like that happen, I try to retrain my thinking. I don't need new curtains. I don't need new furniture to go with my new carpet because what I have still works. It's still okay. I don't need to spend money on something I hadn't planned just because something I did plan to spend money on now makes me think that I need something else. So these are some of the things that our brain does to us. And today in this video, we're going to talk about some of those signs that make you spend money without you realizing it. I hope you enjoy this video. Hi, everyone. I'm Bonita from rural Kansas, and I am early retired. I retired early at almost 58 years old in October of 2023. I am now 60 years old. I am riding it out until Social Security kicks in, and I love frugal living. I share tips and tricks on this channel, and it has afforded me the opportunity and choices to have the freedom that I wanted at an earlier age. I hope you enjoy this video. I've made this comparison before, and it is still such a valid comparison. Some of the same reasons that we will overeat and maybe have trouble losing weight are the same reasons that sometimes we have trouble not saving money. And I'm going to give you some examples of those because some of those same triggers apply to both situations. One of them is boredom. We will eat out of boredom, but we also will spend money out of boredom. So we have to be aware that that feeling will make us spend money. Frugal living is like a superpower. And if you can tap into that, you can do anything. It's like the willpower to lose weight. Once you can tap into that, you are going to go strong, go hard, and you're going to make it to the finish line. But sometimes it's hard to tap into that superpower. That's why knowing these triggers can help you manage them. The second one is it feels good. It feels good to eat that cheesecake. It feels good to go out to eat at that restaurant. I've even seen people that enjoy eating so much that maybe they're going, while they're eating or doing a little dance because it's so good. That's how spending money is sometimes. It makes us feel so good. It taps into that adrenaline and makes you excited, and it's such a fun activity. But spending money shouldn't be a fun activity. It should be something that we are consciously aware of, that we pay attention to, so we don't let it get away from us. Because spending money is not infinite. We don't have just endless amounts of money to spend. And I try to remind myself now that I am early retired that I don't have another paycheck coming in a couple of weeks. When I was working, I was a lot more free with how I spent my money. And the time between me thinking about buying something and buying something was way shorter because I knew I had that check coming in a couple of weeks. But now that I don't have that check coming in, I have stretched out that time that I think between do I want it and do I really need to fork over the money for that because I don't have a check coming in. So taking that pause makes a big, big difference in what my checking account looks like. So just because it feels good now doesn't mean it's going to feel good later, because once that money's gone and you don't have another check coming in, or you do and it's already called for, it doesn't feel so good anymore, does it? The third one is food can provide comfort. That's why people joke about needing chocolate when they're stressed, or eating ice cream after a breakup. It is a comforting thing that people do when they are stressed. And shopping is also a comforting thing that people do when they're stressed. Sometimes people go out and buy themselves something new to make themselves feel better after something like that has happened, and to make themselves feel comforted. And we have to be aware of that. We have to find other ways to comfort ourselves that don't require us spending money. The fourth one is so common, a reward. Food can be a reward. A lot of times, mothers will give kids food as a reward. Many times, we reward ourselves with food when we go through the drive-through when we're working. I know I did that. I did that to get through the day. I would run through and grab myself something as a reward because I was working so hard. And those little purchases drug out me being able to retire sooner, because I was spending money to reward myself too often. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. Buying something to reward ourselves, and all of those little rewards, they add up, and they can actually delay that big goal that we have at the end, whether it's a vacation, retiring early, buying a car, buying a house, having a baby. Many of the things that we buy in little amounts prolong those big rewards at the end. So we need to be on top of that and realize that our mind is tricking us into getting those daily rewards. Another one that is the same between eating and spending money is it's a habit. It's a habit to eat while we're sitting in front of the computer or sitting in front of the television. It's just something that we do. And for those of us that have been used to snacking in front of the TV, if you ever sit there without a snack and try to watch something, it is hard because you've gotten used to having popcorn or something when you're watching television, and that just goes with it. And without it, it feels like something is missing. The same goes with buying something out. It's become a habit to maybe get yourself something and reward yourself every single paycheck. It's become a habit to go out and get pizza on Friday nights. So many of these little habits are ones that add up, and they become part of our regular routine. So a lot of times we don't even recognize that they have. But if we recognize it and we try to stop it, it's kind of difficult because, like I said, it's kind of like that snacking in front of the TV. It feels like something is missing in your day. The sixth way that the two things compare is it becomes a hobby. A hobby in the sense that it's something you really enjoy. It's something that you look forward to. It's something you do in your free time. And sometimes in our free time, we are snacking or buying ice cream or something fun to eat. And eating can become a hobby, and that can become a dangerous hobby, but so can spending money. Polls have actually been taken in this area, and between one third and 40% of people consider shopping a hobby. I graduated in 1984, and between 1980 and 1984, shopping was definitely considered a hobby among my high school girlfriends. They did it on the weekends, they hung out at the mall. Shopping was not because you needed something, it was because you wanted something. And I think the shift really took place hard back then. And for some of us that were raised during that era, It was a hard concept to break. I had been raised where you shopped for things that you needed. And then in the 80s, it became you shopped for things that you wanted, and you spent any money that you earned on some new clothes that you didn't need. And malls became hangout areas. And when you would ask someone what they wanted to do on the weekend, they'd be like, do you want to walk around the mall? And window shopping became huge. And for those people that grew up in that mindset, it became kind of a hard habit to break because it became part of your cultural upbringing that shopping was something that you did in your free time. But in the true sense of the definition of a hobby, shopping and eating should not be hobbies. They really don't fall in that category, but we have thought about them as such over the last quite a few years. A hobby is defined as a regular activity done for pleasure or relaxation during leisure time. So, what do you think? Should shopping be considered a hobby? The seventh way that eating and spending money can trick us into doing both is a scarcity mindset. If we grew up maybe not being able to eat every time we were hungry, or there not being enough food in the house, or there being limitations on what we could have, maybe we've struggled as an adult to keep food in our refrigerator and food in our pantry, we can have that scarcity mindset that we don't have enough. The same goes with spending money. Maybe we didn't have the money at some point in our life to spend, or we don't have the money now. So then when we get that tax return or we get some little windfall in the mail that we didn't expect, we are already spending it and not saving it because we've had that scarcity mindset. We've never had it available to us, and now we have it and we are going to use it up. Those are some of the things that we have to watch for when we are trying to save money, because those can creep up on us without us realizing it. And the next thing you know, you're not able to save money and you're 55 years old and you have nothing saved for retirement. That's where I was at. I had 6 kids. I put them through college. I was buying vehicles. I was buying insurance and putting my kids that were teenagers on my insurance. I never had an extra couple of dimes to rub together at times because everything was already called for. But was it really called for, or was I falling into some of these traps? And I could have saved money a lot sooner and a lot more of it, and it would have made my life a lot easier. So, as you've been following along, have you fallen into any of these spending traps? Boredom, it is good and you really enjoy it. Comfort, rewarding yourself, making it into a habit, making it into a hobby, or having a scarcity mindset, and it's kept you from being able to save like you really wanted to, or to lose weight the way you really wanted to. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you will join me for another video.